Jones from Pieceful Solutions Riding and Training, and today I have with me a very special horse. This is Valencia. This is my 8-year-old Morgan mare, and she's going to be helping me out with this exercise today. What we're going to go over are the first 2 steps of the Super S exercise, and this is a fantastic groundwork exercise that I use for any horse that comes into my barn for training, whether it be a performance horse that needs fine-tuning, whether it's a young horse I'm getting ready to put under saddle, whether it's an older horse that I'm looking to revamp muscle work with. This is an excellent way to teach your horse how to move different parts of the body. So in the first part of the Super S, there's actually 4 steps, but what we're going to do is we're going to break this video down into 2 parts. I'm going to teach you part 1 and part 2 in this video, and then we're going to split it up and I'm going to teach you part 3 and 4 and how to put it all together. So V and I are going to take a few steps back here, and I'm going to start the first 2 steps of how to ask for the Super S. So the only 2 things that you'll need for this exercise is V is outfitted in one of my Pieceful Solutions rope bridles. She has just a regular snaffle bit. I'm holding a dressage whip, and what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to establish the fact, and you can go back to prior videos, I'm going to make sure that when I pick up on rein pressure, that Valencia lowers her head. Okay, now this is called the pull low exercise, and what it's going to turn into is it's going to help Valencia to relax all of her major neck muscles. What that's going to help me with in turn is to be able to get through to the withers, through to the back, and all of the surrounding muscles in these areas. So as Valencia starts to progress in her training, I'm readying her back to carry not only the saddle, but me as the rider. So this is going to help her, this is going to help your horse at home, whether or not you're a jumper, you ride Western, you go down trail, you're a barrel racer, anything that you really do with your horse, you're always looking to better the back. So as I'm gonna step over here and we're gonna start this exercise on a circle. So I'm gonna pretty much try to stay put. I'm gonna use my dressage whip to tap on the fleshy part of V's rump. Okay, I'm going to hold the bridle right close to the bit. I'm just going to pause V for a second. My hand is going to be right about where the buckle is. A lot of you, if you have Western reins, there'll be a slobber strap there. If you have English reins, you can hold close to the small buckle or whatever your reins are attached with there. That way you can help to steer the head, and when you're asking when I'm asking V to lower her head, I'm going to be picking up that pressure. That's going to in turn help me when I'm under saddles. So I'm going to ask her to step forward because we always want forward movement for the horse to understand to step into contact. So as she's starting to circle around me, I'm just going to stay at a 45-degree angle with her shoulder. So I'm going to stay about right at her shoulder, a little bit in front of it. And once I use my dressage whip by tapping her on the hip, that's my gas pedal and my go forward for V. So I want her to march forward with a pretty energetic step. I have contact right by the bit, and I'm just slowly adding just a light contact, feel, pressure, however you'd like to think about it, upwards. And once Valencia responds by lowering her pole, then I'm going to release that pressure for a second. So the first step of the Super S exercise is called Slinky, down, neck, in a circle. So let me explain for a second why I call this exercise the Super S. In my experience when I'm teaching and training any people, it's easier for everybody to remember a system if it makes sense. So every step of the Super S exercise begins with an S. So your first step would be Slinky, down, neck. So that helps you to remember that you want the horse to travel in a circle around you with the head at least with the tip of the ears below the withers. So what that's going to do is it's going to start to release all of Valencia's major neck muscles. So let's just talk about that for 1 second. I'm just going to pause. And we're just going to have Valencia face the camera sideways here. So one of the major neck muscles that we're going to start to relax is the splenius muscle. So this is the muscle that's right behind the horse's ears. This is the muscle that's usually responsible for lifting the head upward. A lot of times this muscle will be overdeveloped if a horse pulls, if they constantly are above the bridle or above the bit, and if a horse tends to use its front end to pull forward with. This muscle will be overdeveloped. The other muscle that I always go to when I'm redeveloping a horse is the brachiocephalic muscle, which is going to travel down the side of a neck on either side. So this muscle also tends to get larger on a horse that tends to use the shoulders to pick up their body as opposed to the back and the hind. The other muscle that's usually apparent is the sternomandibular. That's this muscle right here. A lot of times you'll see a ewe-necked horse or a horse that's larger on the bottom part of their neck. They're using the bottom portion of those muscles to pull themselves forward or to raise their head up. So as you're asking for the Super S and you're gaining Slinky down neck, what you'll see is all of these muscles start to become what I call trampoline-like, and they start to become almost jello-like. So especially the sternomandibular, you'll see this muscle get a little bit jelly-like. Now as she starts to raise her head like she's doing here, you're going to see that that muscle isn't as jelly-like. So my goal with this exercise as she travels around in step 1 is that she's definitely releasing these 3 muscle groups. So let's just spin her around and go the other way. Anything that you do on one side, you definitely want to teach on the other. Your horses are always one-sided, which means that they're just like us. They have right-handed and left-handed, or they're better or stronger on one side over the other. So you want to make sure that you teach both sides and teach your horse to be symmetrical. So as she's traveling around me to the right here, I'm still asking for her to lower her pole by picking up on pressure right by the bit. As her head starts to lower, the tips of her ears will start to travel below her withers, and we'll see all of the major muscle groups start to relax through her neck. Now she has many other muscles through the neck, but those are the 3 that I usually teach and concentrate on the most because those are pretty visible when I'm teaching students in class or in clinics. So as she's traveling around me, you'll also note that she's not bending tremendously to the inside. Now, when I first teach them, I like to tell my students to think of having a paintbrush in the right nostril, the horse is traveling to the right, and a paintbrush on the right front foot. Those 2 brushes need to paint the same line. You don't want the paintbrush to start to travel, as the horse is traveling around, you don't want the paintbrush to start to paint an opposite line or 2 different lines. If that happens, you have a little bit too much bend. And if you can see from this angle, V's left ear is getting lower than the right ear. She's starting to experience a cervical twist through her neck vertebrae. And this is what we're trying to avoid. So anytime the horse starts to bend, especially in the Slinky down neck part of this exercise, you want to make sure that they're bending with their ears level and even. So the only section that we're really looking for in this part of the exercise to bend is right here in this section. So this joint where the pole and the atlas, which is the first cervical vertebrae, where those 2 meet, there's a soft section in there. That's the joint that we want to look to bend. I'm not really looking to bend the deep neck muscle joint down here yet. So I'm only looking up here. So that means that this much bend is fine for right now. So I don't want to overbend. So you basically want to think of the horse's head and neck staying in between their 2 front feet as they're traveling around, and the 2 paintbrushes staying on the same line. So that's step 1. The horse starts to travel around you in a circle with Slinky down neck. Step 2, remember it's going to start with an S. Now I'm going to pick up my rein to where my belly button would be if I was riding. So it would make sense for me, again, we want to make sure that when we do whatever we do on the ground, it makes sense in travel when in travel that the horse will be able to do it under saddle, that when I take my hand up to where my belly button would be, that V swivels the hindquarters 2 steps to the outside. What's going to end up happening is you're going to get adduction of the left hind foot. So adduction is just, think of addition, adding towards the midsection of the body. So if she is swiveling to the right, her left hind foot will step in front of her opposite right foot 2 steps until she stops. In turn, this foot will stop moving and the horse will stop completely. So let's do that again. We're going to go ahead to the other side. I'm going to ask her for step 1, which is Slinky down neck in a circle. Once the feel in my hand is nice and relaxed, she feels like she's relaxed her major muscle groups and her neck, that she's got a nice little lateral cervical bend, flexion, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my hand position to where I'd be sitting in the saddle, straight up towards my belly button and behind the withers until she takes her right hind foot, steps in front of her left, and swivels the hindquarters 2 steps to the left. So now you'll see she's stopped again, and we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. We're gonna go to the other side again, and we're gonna go back to step 1. So you'll see how this starts to work. Step 1 is traveling in the circle, slinky down neck. Your horse will start to get it quicker and quicker. Once you feel that nice relaxation through the neck, pick up your hand, take it to where your belly button would be under saddle, and ask the horse to swivel the hindquarters 2 steps. Once they do so, you're going to switch sides. Use your dressage grip to ask the horse to come forward. Once the horse is stepping forward, travel in your circle, and ask her to lower her paw. Ask for a little lateral cervical flexion to the right. Once she feels nice and relaxed through all the major muscle groups in her neck, I'm going to go ahead and take my hand up to where my belly button would be under saddle. She's going to swivel the hindquarters until she stops moving. I'm going to go ahead and change sides. So I'm going to go through this exercise numerous times until my horse really has it well. And once my horse really has it well, then I'm ready to go ahead to step 3 and 4. So in review, this exercise is fantastic for your horse if you're just starting out, if you're looking to do something possibly when the weather's not so great, when it's raining or it's snowing. I know we're getting into fall riding here and the weather's a little bit unpredictable. This is a great exercise to keep working on. It's something that you can't do enough of. So it's oftentimes in my review for my horses, right before I get on, I might practice this for maybe 5 minutes, and then my horse is usually ready for me to go ahead and climb on and ride. So I hope this tip is helpful for you. If you'd like to ask any questions, or if you're interested in clinics or courses, you can email me at tarajones7@yahoo.com, or you can visit the website at tarajonestraining.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to catch steps 3 and 4 on my next video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.